heart attack. Fast, fatal, heart impact. Past painful scars, in fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new submerged juice. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember you're discreet now, get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do begin, let us give a brief little review. In the last part we had our 4 characters, who, they had found themselves in prison. However, whenever Izuku and Izumi were both in solitary confinement, Deadpool Deku came to both of them, and he handed over something very powerful. Which, this is what it does do. It's a magic bag. You stick your hand inside, and whatever you want you can pull out of it. Anywhere from weapons, vehicles, well, homes and other places, and even superpowers and abilities. Even living creatures can be pulled out of this bag. And these two, they were making great use of these powers. However, something was off. Whenever Izuku and Bakugo broke out of prison, Deku, he killed some of the guards. And Bakugo, he was quite alarmed. The two flew away. And whenever they did go to meet up, there was the way that Izuku and Katsuki were acting. These two, they must have been through a traumatic experience. Whatever happened in those 30 years, it clearly shook them to the core. And Izumi, she is withholding the information about their worlds both being annihilated. However, she does want to tell Bakugo, but she just doesn't know when the right time would be. And the 4, they're currently hiding out in a place in the mountains, one that they have built. And the way they built it was quite simple. They stuck one of their hands in the bag, pulled out a gold coin, and looked at it. Whenever they thought it was the right one, they just flipped it upwards into the air and it went to go disappear. Before a building materialized right in front of them. And this thing was fully decked out. And it was alarming. And we actually do have over with Deku. Deku, he's currently laying down and resting his head. And he's just trying to take a minute. Process everything by himself. And it does appear that Katsuki is doing the same exact thing. It's been a few days. And the two, they haven't really talked to each other. That's what does concern her. And there actually is today, where Izumi, she actually has sat Bakugo down and told him what she does need to tell him. And it is very strange, to say the least. Bakugo, he does sit down, and Izumi, she does start to at least explain to him, her using her telepathy to tell him, since she doesn't want the others hearing whispers about it. So what did you need to tell me, Izumi? Okay. Listen, this is going to be hard to hear, or listen to, but just let me fully explain. Whenever I arrived in the last world, I talked to my counterpart. You did? What did he say? What did he do? He said a lot to me. He gave me some advice? I don't understand it. A lot of it didn't make sense, but, well, he knows there are people watching us, but he doesn't know who they are. Bullshit. No, I'm being dead serious. He said he's never lied to us. And whenever I asked about where they were in another world. I mean, have you heard Izuku talk about it? I mean, I remember he mentioned something about 30 years. That's it. They told me that they were writing out a 30-year sentence in a world with cowboys and cryptids. You're making that up. I wish I was. But you gotta remember where we just came from. Right. weird rules and creatures. Yeah. So, I mean, they spent a long time there. He told me the truth. And he says he's never lied to me. And that just makes the information I'm about to tell you a whole lot worse. Are you ready for this? Okay. So, what is it? In a few simple words, he's told me the worlds that we go to, some of the ones that we've been to, they're destroyed whenever we leave. Oh, oh, God. Yeah. So, what does that tell you? It tells me quite a bit. He just annihilates them with no remorse. Mm-hmm. He does. Now, what if I told you we've already been to our world? No, 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 no. Assuming you're making that up. Bakugo's standing up, and he does just somewhat turn and try to think about what he's hearing. He's not sure. No, 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 no. Okay, you're saying, you're saying, you're saying our worlds have been destroyed. Yes, I am saying that. Now, Bakugo, he feels this pressure in his chest, and it feels overwhelming. I mean, just trying to hold himself together on his feet, it feels difficult. And there actually is going to someone turn and smash his fist directly into the wall. Instead of the wall just being cracked, the entire wall does go flying out and being destroyed, since he does have the strength of Superman. Now, Bakugo, he does feel this. His arm cutting through the wall like butter and smashing a hole straight through it, as a large amount of wind pressure is sent flying that direction. And Bakugo, he does go to directly turn and look down towards his hand, before remembering that he's using these abilities. They're strange to say the least. Okay. Do the others know? I'm assuming they do, but it doesn't seem like they do. They would have brought it up, wouldn't they? I don't know. But how long have you known? Almost a year. Fuck's sake. It's not my fault, okay? I know, but you couldn't have told us whenever we all got together. I haven't even told your counterpart yet. I mean, she wanted to fight me. Yeah, I've noticed. Zuko, he's acting off too. I mean, whenever he broke out of prison, he killed a bunch of guys. He just blasted them with laser eyes. Are you kidding me? Yeah, and that's not even the weirdest part. I've looked over the powers we have. I mean, super speed, super strength, X-ray vision, cold breath, invulnerability. I can have a warhead go off inside of my mouth, and all it would do is just crunch on whatever is left of the metal. I mean, for God's sake, I'm pretty sure I could clap hard enough and destroy the Earth. Are you serious? Yeah, and that's not even the worst part. Izuku has these same powers, and yet he talked about how they had the powers of gods. Okay, I really don't like where that's going. I know. I don't like it either. We need to talk to these two. Find out what's going on. I mean, hell. We're lucky Izuku can't hear us. Now, we actually do have over with Katsuki and Deku. Deku, he heard a loud crash. And whenever he did get us jump up to find out what was going on, he's just going to use his X-ray vision. Him going to look around through the ground until he does see Bakugo and Izumi, who the two they are just staying there and talking. However, Deku he does notice that Bakugo, his mouth is not moving. And he does just don't leave that, deciding that it's none of his problem. The two are having a private conversation. Hell, the fucking super hearing, it's very annoying. And right now, any help from it, it will not be needed. And Deku, he does just try to stay focused, lying down and trying to think. What can they grab from the bag that can help them get their son back? John, he still exists somewhere, doesn't he? I mean, they asked for the best, right? And the best option, it wouldn't be sending him to another universe. It wouldn't be just annihilating him on the spot, would it? I mean, there's got to be something else there. I mean, it wasn't an option, but is it possible that he just left the timeline alone? Let John slip into that world and live free? Or is John just somewhere else in another world? Is he somewhere else? The idea that their son, he's just a memory in his head now. It's tough. I mean, that world did a lot to them. It taught Deku a bit. You have to be able to fight and work for what you want. You have to be able to put in the time and effort. I mean, his dad wasn't really there whenever he grew up. And he always thought that if he ever became a dad, he would try and avoid those same mistakes. However, right now, it's the opposite problem. His son isn't there. He quite literally doesn't exist. He's numb with rage. Now, we do actually have a war with Katsuki, who she herself is lying down. And she actually is digging through the bag. And she's going to pull out a power. Her looking at it and reading the description of it. Realizing that this, well, it does help them overall, or help her, it might not do what its purpose may be. She pulled out some powers that would be considered reality bending. However, there's an issue she does see with this. If she was given these powers under direct order, or, well, they were given this bag by another version of Deku who took orders from, well, the whole thing just is confusing at this point. If they got this power from this all-powerful being, if they were given permission to use this stuff, why would this be in here? And it does confuse her. Her deciding to go ahead and hold on to this power, as she actually feel her body change a bit. I mean, she just starts to perceive things differently. Her standing up and looking around, and it feels different. I mean, the world, everything she's known, everything she feels, it doesn't feel right. She knows everything that's about to happen, before, during, and after. And, well, there's a sense of calm. She can tell that right now, there is a butterfly somewhere, halfway across the world, flapping its wings. And somewhere else, there's an animal in its den. And then there's just people. Right now there's somebody just standing there, tapping their finger against a desk. And they're thinking. They're not too sure what to do. I mean, the entire situation, these people that broke out, they literally had superpowers. In the news, they're going haywire with this. The idea that these people exist, that superpowers are real, not just a part of your imagination. It's taken the world by surprise. There is video of two men flying and women from prison riding a creature that just looks like something from, what, a slaughterhouse. I mean, it's so messed up, but it's both disgusting and, well, intriguing. Now, Bako, she's going to bring up her hands and look towards that person's direction. Ash has found herself in that very room, and the person is going to turn around to see her sitting down. Jesus! Who are you? Who am I? I've been watching you. Okay. When did you get in here? I just popped up. You're the escaped convict. Um, yeah, I am. Okay. Christ. There is a murderer in my apartment. Actually, I'm not a murderer. Okay, fine. Then you were some sort of, what? Intruder? Burglar? I didn't break in. Okay. Listen, I'm not going to argue with you, but I'm gonna call the police. And I do have a knife right here. No, you don't. What? That's just a pencil. One that you sharpen too much and bite the end off of. In fact, you chew it too much whenever you're stressed out with your stories. How did you know that? I know a lot of things. Okay. You're a stalker then. But you live halfway around the world. I know. In fact, I just came here. Okay, I'm just going to have to stop you right there. How? I just brought my hand up and then reappearing somewhere else. When the person is starting to freak out and ask her to return them to where they were, take them back home. And Balko is going to do so. As after they do reappear, Balko, she is going to not leave them alone. They're clearly freaked out and rattled. So right now, she's just going to go. And there actually is an idea that is popping in her head. One that seems intriguing. She has the power to bend reality at her very fingertips. So, she wants to see if this is going to be possible. Her returning to Deku. And whenever she does appear in Deku's room and goes to grab towards him or grab at his shoulder, he is going to roll over. Her ask her, what? I have an idea. What is it? Hang on. Her going to pull something out of the bag, telling him that there's another one of these. So, use the power and come with her. And Deku, he does get to do this. He grabs onto the power, and he immediately feels a rush of clarity. It's like he was standing, and his legs were going to give out, but he sat down. There was loud, banging noises that were just going on over and over again while he was standing, and they just went quiet. It was just a sense of peace, true peace, and it felt alarming to him. He couldn't help but just think that way. It's peaceful. He knows everything that's going to happen in this world. And whenever he does make direct eye contact with Bakugo, he knows what she is thinking. And the two, they do go to sit down and go to bring their hands together. Them holding both of them up and trying to recreate their son. It seems impossible. They try and do this. However, it doesn't seem to work. They're not allowed to do this. And it just seems odd. They can feel the ability try. They can feel it strain, but it just doesn't work. And there actually is where somebody does going to appear. Then I'm going to turn in a chair and ask the two if they really thought he hasn't thought of that. With the two jumping up. And Deku, the moment he does go to see himself, he does directly turn and going to bring up both of his hands, attempting to try and unmake this version of himself, since he has godlike power now. And the moment Reality Bender does go to see that, he does get someone do this. He just lets a little bit more of a stare go directly at Izuku. And Deku, he is the one who is unmade. He is torn atom by atom, apart. And he does just get to fall into just a pile. It's not even a solid nor a liquid. It's just matter. And Bakugo is just going to directly look at that, before asking him why. Why what? Why are you doing this to us? You gave us this power? You understand a bit more. I would say I do. But it just doesn't make sense. Is this what you feel like? Is this why you are the way you are? No, it isn't. Him waving his hand. As Deku, he does reappear. And this time he does stand there. He feels odd. And right now, it doesn't make sense. Why? Why what? What are you doing to us? I'm allowing you to learn, gain experience, do a lot. The opportunity I've afforded to you two is quite unique. One of a kind, I would say. So why are you complaining? You know why we're complaining. I understand. You two have been witness to horrible acts and horrible creations, horrible worlds, all of which might as well have been gone. What did you do to our son? You know that I will not answer that question. If I do, it will be heartbreaking for both of you. You'll try and seek him out, try and remake him, try and do what you believe is correct. Of course we would. I understand that. It's quite noble. However, the loss of a child is something hard to get over. I would know. I've felt what you two are feeling thousands and thousands of times. It comes with the power. In fact, you were on the same level as I was whenever I was 4 years old. Now, both the two are very alarmed. The power both the two are wielding. To think that a 4-year-old boy might have had it at one point, it's almost laughable. I mean, the very idea of it. This type of power, the power Deku feels, it's incredible, life-changing. And it's both insane and horrific. If this is the power he had at a young age in his first life, then the power he must have now, it's... Now, Deku would somewhat go to smile at his counterparts and explain to him that it is. And they will need to know. He's changing their sentence. What? I previously told your counterparts it would be 10 years. However, now, I feel it would be more appropriate to tell you. How about I give you 20 or 40? How about even 50? Or how about I give you both till the end of the universe? This universe. Whenever it comes to a natural death and the last light within the universe sparks out, the last sun dies. How would you feel? You can't do that to us. Of course I can. It will give you enough experience to know. The universe, the beginning of it was almost 12 billion years ago. So, we are still at the very edge of the beginning stages. In fact, the universe is still expanding. And, as we speak, a planet is currently being seeded with life out there in space. Serene and calm. I'll have to go there. In fact, it will be some time, but you two will eventually find your way there. And your counterparts, well, they have not been entirely truthful with you. What? They're hiding something. Talk. Speak to them, and see how their opinions do differ. This is your sandbox, so do what all good children would do when given the opportunity to play. Have fun. Now, Deku does get to disappear, and right now it does surprise both the two. And they do get to reappear downstairs. As Bakugo and Izumi, they were sitting down and going to eat, and whenever these two just suddenly popped up, it alarmed them. I mean, it was just insane. And the two, they try to discuss it. And they try to tell these two what happened. They found a godlike power, and his counterpart reappeared. And he explained to them a lot of things. However, he just told them they'll be here till this universe dies a natural death. And, as much as that does sound bad, there is the fact that that is pretty good. I mean, well, it's going to be a hard life. I mean, longer than any natural human could live. So, what should they do? I mean, this place is a sandbox. That's what Deku just heard. And right now, him and Katsuki, they're going through a lot in their minds. If this place is a sandbox, then they're about to throw a tantrum. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.